What's up, everybody? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
Today we're going to be talking Fallout 76, Bethesda. Oh my god, will you please stop hitting your head against the brick wall? It will not submit to you. Just do what you need to do and deliver a good goddamn game. Okay, so let's start out. Bethesda has not handled Fallout 76 with anything resembling grace whatsoever. This has been a company that has repeatedly fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
Repeatedly fucked up.
One after another, just...
Okay, I'm not going to judge Fallout 76 for the content in it from what I can tell, from what I've seen of gameplay and others' reviews. I didn't buy it. I had a feeling it was going to be garbage. We'll get to that in a minute, why we had that feeling. But the point of it is that Fallout 76, I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to say there isn't an audience for it, but I'm going to say that it didn't run properly. There are bugs that are still within the game-breaking things, server errors constantly. This was a game that was unfinished. And it was sold as a $60 finished product. Not only finished product, AAA pedigree, the likes of which hardly any stand on the shoulders of giants like Bethesda.
Oh, yeah, with like a $200 Ultimate Edition.
They could start their own religion and have people pay taxes and probably get away with it with the amount of zealotry in which they are defended by the hardcore Bethesda fan. I mean, it's fine. I don't think that you should maybe take that as an insult either. I mean, you got to be passionate about something. If a company who has made up to this point pretty amazing, decent games is your choice, that's fine. But you also need to poke at the bits that are flawed, because if we're not willing to, at least as all gamers, all consumers of any type of media, any type of just any sort of entertainment, if we're not willing to come to terms with the fact that if you're paying money for something that you're being sold, you should receive that thing.
Yes.
That thing should work.
Oh, yeah.
That thing should be functional, and that thing should be what it's advertised to be. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you don't want to do that, that's fine, because there's a lot of people who, they advertise salvation at the small cost of a certain amount of money per month from your,
Oh,
pay.
yeah, the seed faith or
Yeah,
whatever.
seed faith. You gotta plant your seed faith, which is money, and it goes to me, and but he's selling something, whether it's tangible or not. It's bullshit, right? But whatever. If it works for those people, it works for those people. But those people are never going to look at it and say, hey, maybe this guy's full of shit. And that should be the difference between you as a consumer and a gamer than other people. You should be able to do this, because the thing about games at its core is games are a test. Games are a mind game. There's some sort of skill involving your mind that is being tested and put to use and put to play.
Right.
And so Fallout 76, I'm not going to talk shit about the gunplay, the mechanics, the fact that it's clearly just an asset flip from Fallout 4. I'm only going to point out this game didn't run properly. Still doesn't run properly. Lots of bugs, lots of errors and things going on.
Lots of disconnects, lots of server lag.
Then when you look at the way it was advertised with the canvas bag that ended up being bullshit, unless you were an influencer, one of those YouTube personalities.
Fluffers that aren't technically on the payroll.
One of those game journalists for companies like Game Informer, GameStop, these sorts of outfits especially.
We'll give you what we marketed and sold other people.
You'll get it because you're an influencer and you're important and we want to fluff you. But the people who are just our diehard fans, who many are this religious type, towards us, believe in us, expect really good things from us, they're gonna get this fucking canvas shit.
Especially because it comes
with nylon or whatever it was. Vice versa. And what the fuck do I know about bagged fabrics?
It doesn't matter. And that's another thing. I don't think the people are so much pissed about the material it's made out of. Because I'm sure they're more pissed off at the fact that they were marketed and told they were getting something that wasn't ending up true. You would have a slew of fans who would not care about it being a nylon bag, who would still buy the $200 pre-order edition.
Just for that headpiece.
Yeah, and the bag is an extra. They would have no problems with this.
It's that you said you lied.
That's why it's a debacle, is because it's false advertising. You were promising...
That continued, because this thing was still up for sale.
And there's not many people buying the $200 edition, by the way. It's like you said, these are the diehard fans who look at it with that, fanaticism. It's because they're actually willing to fork over $200 for a product that they're, thinking is going to be amazing.
Well,
Whereas everybody else can get the same exact
It's
stuff
because
for $60.
it should be amazing. It's kind of a no-brainer. How you take that aspect and make it so bare bones and hollow.
But let's not kid ourselves. Like the premium, deluxe edition, all that stuff is for people who care about it and like really want it to be good, who really want the full experience. Like Far Cry Primal's exclusive stuff. It was like a handful of story missions, the mammoth missions, whatever the fuck that is.
Which is bullshit. Yeah. That means you're dedicating time to making missions that you're only going to give people who buy early.
Yeah, and then weapons,
the
which
thing
like,
about this,
they were just aesthetic. They did nothing for like the actual combat.
This is one of those dirty things with games that it's like, it's not a big deal because you understand where it's coming from, and it's usually tacked. I mean, the Arkham games did this too.
Right.
From what I understand, the Spider-Man DLC, a lot of the Spider-Man DLC has been kind of the same, in the same fashion.
And regardless of whether this is like, people think it's lackluster or people think it's amazing, the reason why this hasn't been such a debacle is the Bethesda debacle. Say that 5 times fast.
Bethesda debacle. Nope. Not doing it.
But that's why that is such a huge deal, is because they were promising things that didn't end up being true all the way to the canvas bag, to them all of a sudden, oh, they did have enough money to make them, but they went to influencers, to like, oh, we're going to give people refunds and then email them personal information of other people who have like contacted us for refunds.
Fallout 76 is a product of Bethesda's greed. Them lying doesn't surprise me. I think that I kind of expected this to be not that great.
Right.
The main reason though is because with Fallout 4, there were brick walls in one of the endings, the underground road. If you follow my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I have a huge issue with this. I feel like I saw this defense from people, like, it's a Bethesda game, it's fucking buggy, that's just how their games are, don't play them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, look, bro, I understand like character animation flaws, AI pathing on the fucking NPCs might get fucked up. I mean, Witcher, in the case of The Witcher, for instance, one of the regular ones in there is multiple copies of the NPC that are spawned in at the one time during the cutscene, or like people that are not supposed to be there that get fucked up because of the NPC pathing, and it just pulls them out of the picture super fast. So like, I'm expecting a fucking variety of bugs. Like, don't get me wrong. There's bugs in nearly every game that I've bought.
Yes.
Like, there's little bugs. The question is it a game-breaking bug? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Graphical glitches and errors, whatever. But when you get to the fundamental mechanics of the game being an RPG, allowing you, you know, supposedly a certain amount of control over your playthrough, so that it feels like an RPG, like you're more able to, you know, envelop yourself in your character and become that character and make decisions that you yourself would want to make. This is the more control you're given in an RPG, the better the RPG. And honestly, a true RPG will give you a fair amount of control.
Right.
Over whether it's builds, classes, whatever, things like that. And if Fallout 4 is that, then how is one of its main story quests have a fucking brick in between it?
Right.
Between it and the end. A brick that equals to, this woman will not allow me to turn in this quest that I've just completed, I don't know why. And then the other one being that the AI unit who's supposed to take me back to the railroad ends up getting shot down and killed. So now that quest is ongoing, I go to her, I can't turn it into her now either. So like this isn't just one break. And these are just the ones I experienced. From what I understand, there's multiple ones involving the Minutemen.
Right.
There's multiple ones involving the Institute. There's multiple ones involving the Brotherhood that require a load to a previous save in order to do something or not do something or some sort of thing, or console commands in order to fix. If that's the case, then your game shouldn't be available on console.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, if I have to have a keyboard connected and enter the root menu for the console commands within the game engine in order to like bring an NPC back to life.
Can you even use those commands on the console?
No, like absolutely
PS4
not.
and Xbox?
No,
okay, so it's only
not.
PC users who are allowed this privilege.
Yeah, so if those are the only people who are going to be allowed to have the necessary tools in order to fix these bugs, game-breaking bugs within your game, then I feel like you shouldn't have that for sale to them.
Right.
So the thing about that bug was they came out with a patch. I can't remember exactly what one it is. 1.1.3, I think. Off the top of my head, I want to say that's it. But they came out with a patch. They said explicitly within the patch notes that the Desdemona bug involving the underground undercover fix or bug had been fixed. This brick wall had been mended. It's no longer there. I reload my save, went through it, went to it, and I'd actually uploaded a previous save that was actually earlier, but past all the beginning shit and all the, you know, Minutemen stuff and getting Sanctuary going and all that shit.
Right.
And so, like, I went and I hit that point and same thing. Maybe I didn't load it soon enough. Maybe I didn't, you know, that's what I was thinking at the time. But I was like, apparently you're lying. And I made a video saying they're fucking lying. Like, I'm here right now and this bug is fucking broken. It's still not. That was after having to download and install the thing all day because of, like, the way they packaged that for the console with the install. Just so long of, and it wasn't even the download. It was the install that took for days.
Yeah, because it downloads and then you open it and then you get that little cartoon on a loop. Yeah.
And so I put it to bed, whatever, forgot about it. But periodically, and it still happens over the course of a month, whatever, I'll get a handful of comments of people who have bought this game, first playthrough, just hit this bug.
And it's still broken.
That they clearly said in official patch notes, like...
And that's like people who have started the game fresh and then got to that point. Yeah. So even if you had...
So they didn't fix it.
Yeah, at all.
They didn't. Maybe they thought they fixed it, and they had limited testing to prove that theory, and someone made a call and told management that the fucker was fixed, and then management put it in the official patch notes. Either way, motherfuckers lied.
Yeah.
I don't know who lied, I don't know how, but I knew that the company was on icy ground with me at that point. Just like Gearbox was after Battleborn, after the way that they had handled that release and bungled the fuck out of that game and clearly pulled fucking developers away from it to start Borderlands way early because they could tell they weren't going to have a chance in hell against Overwatch.
Oh yeah, and they released, Borderlands 3 is coming.
Well, they released an early access game that they called us founders for.
Yeah.
A year after the fact.
Oh, yeah.
After the winter update, which significantly improved performance, character balancing, all sorts of things were fixed in that maps. Story missions were debugged and actually working and completable. So, like, and you could see that from the from post-winter update to after winter update, like, you could tell that, like, the post-winter update, that's like the shit.
Oh yeah.
It ran
that's
smoother.
When it was like...
It looked better.
Oh yeah.
It looked better, dude.
Oh yeah.
It was, the frames were stable. That one map we could never play because the frames would just crash to shit.
The one that was the DLC, I think?
No,
right?
it was the PvP map. The other Conquest map, the one in the city.
Yeah.
Like the Ambra City or whatever
those
guys are called.
Yeah.
But yeah, that map sucked. Like, we could never do that map because people would just vote against it because it was like just so it ran like shit in there. Oh yeah,
the frames would immediately dip to,
and
like,
you saw that
15.
a lot more. Like, people were actually wanting to run it because it was a cool map. It had a completely different lane layout, and it was a cool map. It had different side jungles, and it was a very cool map. But people would automatically vote against it because of that sort of fucking, you know.
Right.
So they're on thin ice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Borderlands fucking 3 better be amazing. And guess what? I will not be buying it until after release. And I see several of my favorite reviewers play it and give me a fucking example. Angry Joe, I'll like to hear what he thinks. I'll like to hear what Jim Sterling thinks. I'll like to hear what Carrick over at ACG thinks. There's several people and several others if they do make a review, because they only do limited reviews.
Right.
But if any of them do it on that, I'm going to watch it. Those guys, those are people I can trust. Those are people that are not going to feed me the bullshit party line of like, oh, well, they're giving out Fallout 1 and 2 and you guys should kiss their ass for it.
Yeah.
Even though that's not available on console either. Another slap in the face from Bethesda to the console crowd, which is confusing and funny because as far as I was concerned, they were starting to optimize these games for the console. This is a company that's 10 years behind.
Oh, yeah.
At this point. The mechanics and grind in fucking Fallout 76 is nothing you haven't seen in a free-to-play MMO since fucking way back.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, is it is free to play grindiness, you know, talking about 100+ hours just to reach the end game or something like that. Now, don't quote me on that. This is based off of like reviews,
information we have. The extended review Joe had with Delrith.
Yeah, exactly.
Delrith is another dude who I will be very interested in.
Oh yeah, because
I
these
know
are
that
guys that like
and I know Delrith's opinion influences Joe's to an extent.
Yeah, well, they have a passion for this thing, and
yes,
so when
they love games. They want good games. That's all they want. So when they see
good things, they want to be like, they want to talk about it in a really good way because it is a good move. But when they are mean about shit, it's because it's like you need to listen.
Pay attention to
like
this.
People need to talk about
and you
this.
could tell they were so scared to do that. Even in their extended review, like you could tell that Delrith, OJ, and OJ didn't really. I think OJ's kind of out of the internet loop.
Yeah.
I get that vibe from OJ. Like he doesn't frequent Reddit or fucking social media, and if he does on social media, it's family and friends.
Right.
He's not listening to this group thing going on. But I feel like Joe and Delrith, they don't give into it, but they're aware of its existence.
Yeah.
You can tell when they talk about certain games and criticize certain games.
Right.
Like you can tell, like with Jim Sterling, he actually goes harder on those games, where that's the mentality behind the fan base, where he'll actually be more vitriolic towards it than normally he would. Like, just for instance, I'll pull for instance that the Breath of the Wild, his initial video of that. Because honestly, let's face it, if you remove emotion from the situation, emotion, feelings, like Breath of the Wild is a standard by the numbers open world adventure. I'm not going to say that there aren't unique things that make it Zelda. I'm not going to say there aren't unique settings that make it Zelda. But I'm just going to say if you supplant like the towers, the enemy camps, the loot system, the breakable weapons, and other things into another game with other characters, animations, other things, that game is not going to be getting the amount of credits and, you know, like 10s out of 10s if it's not a fucking Zelda game.
Oh, yeah. Well,
if it's not a Zelda game, if that is all of those things that are in that, the cooking, the crafting, everything.
And it wasn't even called Zelda. And that's
and
where...
it's not called Zelda. It could be just as fluid as that game. It could have, but just completely reskin the motherfucker, call it something else, have someone other than Nintendo have been the publisher and developer of it, and you're going to get a different critical reception of that product.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that way about Breath of the Wild, and I think Jim did too. And that's why I think Jim went so hard. Zelda fans got so pissed, they flooded his website and shut it down with data, or however they fucking do that. I don't fucking know.
Freaking, like, seriously, why do that shit? People do that shit all the time, and it's like, we're getting him. We're in the right.
But I think that on Jim's side, it's seriously like, he's going at it that hard because he wants to show that sort of, that they do that. And, like, he can get his website fixed. But now he can show you, like, there's a...
He's being honest
he's
about
saying there's a measure of fucking, like, obviously emotion over facts.
Yeah.
In this fan base, in this group of people. And we're not saying all of you, he's not saying all of you are like that.
No.
And he's not talking to all of people who like Breath of the Wild. He's talking to those people that would be so offended by his lower review score that isn't a 9 out of 10 or a 10. I think he gave it a 7 out of 10, which is still pretty good.
It's still pretty high.
That's 2 points above me. That's 2 points above meh. You know what I mean? That's still pretty high. And you heard how he talked about it. He didn't care for it much at all. Right? And so, like, but when you get to Bethesda, they've had this sort of defense.
This, like, huge fan base with the religious zeal and fanaticism that's like, they love it and kind of worship it with that same kind of fucking craziness.
This pushback against people who would otherwise say anything. And so when you see other Joe and Angry Joe and Delrith talking about this game in the extended review, you see him kind of softing it. He doesn't do that in his angry reviews. You can tell that he's behind his script. He is fucking okay with it. Those are the experiences he's had. He has footage to back it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he is, like, razor edge. And even then, though, he's like, this is a great concept. Maybe it'll get there. But that's the thing, is, like, it shouldn't get there.
It should be there.
It should be there the day that they sell it.
Or it should say early access with $9.99 on the fucking price tag.
Exactly. Because the thing is if we've learned anything from recent releases like this year in 2018, if we've learned anything from releases in this year, we've learned that products can be single player, make money. Not only can they be single player, they can also be amazing experiences that are really good, that are critically acclaimed, rightfully so. Whether or not I was into the God of War, that doesn't mean that, like, I don't see how people were.
Right.
It just wasn't the God of War game I wanted.
Right.
And, you know, I was way harsh on it, but it's just like, it's just, I get carried away with it sometimes. And I try to put myself back in the moment when I was in that moment and I was frustrated. And when I do that, like, it's like kind of blindsides me to things that were awe-inspiring, like the setting, the art design, things like that. Like, God of War had things going on. It was definitely pulling the game forward. It just wasn't in a direction that I enjoyed.
Right.
But it sold well. It was critically praised. You look at, like, Red Dead Redemption 2. Blam, drop that on the table. And that shows you that not only can a game come out that has an amazing single-player RPG experience with NPCs that talk to you and everything, but also an online mode that does just as shallow and basic a fucking grind system as Fallout 76 does, but it does it for free on top of the price. I mean, not for free,
but on top
but
of
included with the previous.
On top of the single player experience, because that's what you're buying.
So, like, as gamers, especially like reviewers, people who have that reach, who can reach people and get people talking and influence people, you need to speak up. You need to not just, and you need to not jump on things that are.
And I'm not saying you need to be vitriolic or over the top, but you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to be honest about the experiences you have. Like, if you look at, there's so many videos that we've watched, I can't remember which one, but it's one where essentially it bounces back and forth between game reviewers talking about a game before and then after, and it's always like, before, crazy good scores.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody should play it. Everybody should buy it. It's definitely an experience worth its price tag.
It was probably a Kirby Cat video, honestly.
Yeah, but then afterwards, it's like they give it a less than average score, and it's them making fun of the flaws in the game after they've already peddled it to the people.
After they've peddled it to the people. Well, you know, B. Dobbins brought up a very good point. I can't remember in what video. I'll have a link to it below. But he was speaking to the fact that, like, after the Mars DLC, the Hive Mind, before it came out, everyone was fluffing it up, pimping it out, you know, all the reviewers. None of their reviews were mentioning all the problems Destiny had. Much the same way that after Destiny 2 came out, they talked a lot of shit on it. But before that, you got people fucking just praising it. We've seen it. We've played it at the E3. It's amazing. You know, it's something every Destiny player is going to love. You know what I mean? And the thing is maybe they're not lying. Maybe they are just hapless idiots, but these are the people who are in charge at, you know, getting people the information that they need, and they're front line. They're there playing these games in kiosks. They're there talking to these developers. They have inside access to these people, and they're just, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they don't want to lose that. Maybe there's a history of people who step over a line and now all of a sudden they're not welcome back. Angry Joe.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, maybe they understand that, but either way, when you do that, you're letting them sell you a day one product that has server crashes. You're letting them sell you a day one product that does this, and then you're omitting any of your responsibility, not selling you, selling the customers that. The people who are reading your articles, the people who are watching your channels.
Yeah.
Right? You're selling that to them, these people's product. You're allowing them to sell those people that product. And so after that, there's a responsibility to the fans. And it's like, everyone of the fans, they're like, man, yeah, I feel blindsided by it too. And I trust this guy because now after the fact, he's come out and he's saying, oh guys, you know, like, I trusted it. I wanted it to be good. I helped popularize the idea of this game. I helped to feed the hype machine and throw wood on the hype fire. And like, I'm disappointed with this thing, you know what I mean? And like, this is why. And their objective then, but it's too late. It's after the fact. And this sort of like enabling, this corporate enabling has continually happened, and it's progressed to a significant amount where it's hard for me to find a video that I can sit down on YouTube and watch, and I don't feel like my brain is melting from the infusion of all the same opinions into one condensed format. Right? It's like trying to drink orangeade, right? Or orange juice right out of the fucking, right in the can.
Right.
Condensed, you know, concentrated orange juice, and that's your drink. It's like, that's what you're getting. There's no nuance. There's no like free thought here. This is Reddit. This is a Reddit thread read and regurgitated back at you.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing you couldn't do for yourself. And at this point, these people gain that trust, and then they'll enable the next big thing that will be under, a 6 out of 10 game, but will be, and it'll have this cult-like following. Like, it blows my mind. But then again, I saw No Man's Sky, and I saw the hate that came at me from No Man's Sky fans when they started sharing my videos with each other. So, like, I understand that if a game like No Man's Sky, a company like Hello Games, that can do what they did, lighting,
still have people be like, fuck you don't talk shit on that. And especially in the case of No Man's Sky, that's what's so funny to me. And despite all the problems you have with it, despite anything you have good to say about it, put all that shit aside. I'll put that aside as well. Let's just say this, okay? No Man's Sky now has multiplayer. You can now see each other. You can now see yourself, which is something that Sean Murray has said was something that was going to be in the game on launch.
Yeah, on launch.
Okay. He said that as you got
was
more...
already in the game.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about an expansive story with interesting arcs and interesting characters and alien races.
He left enough loopholes and breadcrumbs with lower level...
Oh, yeah. And how he spun his PR jargon.
He talked a lot different when it was a low level, like, blog reviewer, or versus, like, when he was talking to... Steve Carell. What the fuck?
Fucking night show host.
Colbert.
There's like 20 of them now.
When he was talking to Steve Colbert, for some reason I got Steve Carell in my mind out of Steve Colbert. It wasn't gonna fuck off.
And then it just like kind of stuck. Like, no, not Michael.
You can never forget Colbert though, because it's Colbert.
Colbert.
But it's Colbert. I love Steve. Anyway, but that aside, like, he went on there. He had a lot of things, positive things to say, things that were going to be in the game. He showed some footage that was bullshit. He acted like he was playing that footage. If he was, it was that data mine footage that people found that was specifically an E3 build when he said, this is not an E3 build. This is not, like, scripted. This is just, we're going to go see what happens. So, like, dude, no matter what, arguments aside, I'm done arguing that. Like, if you're a rational human being, you understand that. Yeah. Whether you've chosen to forgive them and support the game and
that's up
them,
to you.
That's up to you.
That's all you.
That's up to you. But if you comment to me saying that it wasn't a fucking complete scam what he did, whether good intentioned or not, whether he just, like, felt like they would have at some point all of those things, and that, like, just now it wasn't feasible because of the flood or whatever things... Whether it was good intentioned or not, he fucking lied.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, moving past that is where I'm like, okay, right after that, when the game was still hollow and empty, I had people commenting saying, I'm playing this every day. I love this game. You don't know what you're talking about. So, like, that's the thing. I understand there's an audience for this, and that's why I'm not surprised that there's people...
But what it really boils down to is the business practices behind it, because much like in the same sense of Fallout 76 with the canvas backs, if you're honest about the product that you're fucking pushing, dipshit, there's gonna be people who want to buy it because there is a fucking market for it.
There's a market for people who are being honest about their game and just
putting That's what it really boils down to.
Instead of putting their time and energy into fucking marketing and coming up with fucking pre-written scripts to read that sound inspirational and awesome and snarky and jokey, and instead of spending almost half the budget of the game, if not double the budget of the game, on marketing and selling the cool, they're delivering the fucking cool.
Yeah.
And they're making good money doing it. Monster Hunter, Red Dead 2, Witcher 3. Fuck, there's a lot of them that I feel like I can't even think of them.
There's a lot of them that deserve credit. I'm just going to throw this one out there. I've been playing it. You haven't started it. Vampire.
Yeah, Vampire.
Like, that game alone has so many different options. It has options within its options. The combat system is nice. It doesn't feel clunky or janky.
That. I have so many games to play right now.
I'm not going to lie. It's not as smooth as, say, like, Bloodborne, but at the same time, there's a lot of cool aspects to it.
Cool ideas, too.
And it kind of twists it up because, keep in mind, you're a fucking vampire, and vampires need to feed on blood.
Feels like someone wanted to make a really good game rather than a game
they wanted
to sell the cool.
Exactly. And that game
feel
has
like that's a
problems.
lot
I'm
of
just going to throw this out there. The facial animations, the lip syncing, all that stuff, it is really, really weird looking. And it is really, really bad. And it is oftentimes hilarious. But despite all that, I'm into the story. I really like the combat. I really like the decisions and how it gives it the player more freedom as to how the story goes. And there's certain dialogue options that'll pop up, and you have a choice to make your guy an asshole or like a nice guy, or like, you know, a killer, or like, you know.
It's like the same reason you'll remember playing The Witcher 3 more fondly than playing Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes.
Even though Assassin's Creed Origins had that really fluid combat, the awesome stealth takedowns, things like that. That's really entertaining.
Really good experience.
But
overall, I would say it was a good experience.
You're going to remember Witcher 3 infinitely more. And Witcher 3 had some combat that's unconventional. It takes a minute to get used to.
Yeah.
You got to build up to it too with getting the weapon arts and things like that. And it's like, you know, you got to build your character out, fill Geralt out, make him the character you want him to be. And it's like, it's more memorable than unlocking a linear skill tree by just, oh, well, I got another skill point, I'll unlock this one now. Oh, I got another skill point, I'll unlock this one now. Eventually filling out the entire tree.
Yeah.
You know,
oh,
it's
now
like there's no give and take. There's no, and it's
like the parry in Assassin's Creed
Origins. If it's about graphics and combat, and like that's what it's about, like Destiny, because those are Destiny's biggest strengths. Is like its combat and its fucking visuals.
Yeah.
Like that's its biggest strengths, hands down.
Oh yeah.
Hands down. The progression system is mediocre. Hacky mobile phone shit.
The RPG elements are crap.
You're chasing a number with a weapon that maybe has a different weapon perk, right? Like that's it. And it's like the thing that keeps people playing that game is because it looks sci-fi and awesome as fuck. And it feels so good to jump around and murder aliens.
Yep.
Like, that shit feels good and it looks good. And everything else is just kind of like, there's never been a time when any Destiny player, and if you're there and you're listening, I challenge you to comment below that there was a time when there was 100% of the endgame grind, 100% of the progression system within Destiny 1 or 2, where you didn't have a little problem with something. A problem with something that you thought this could be better, this could be better, this could be more in-depth, we could have more options here. It's possible. I think this and this and this and this. There was always that murmuring within the community.
Oh, yeah.
Always that murmuring within the community. And it's still there to this day. And it's sort of like it plays to their favor because it adds, I don't know, it adds personal things and thoughts, and you're thinking about, I don't know.
Well, it's because it does have the potential to be good, and these people do see that potential that it can be good, but they are chasing the game that it could be rather than enjoying the game you get. Because I did that too. I totally understand
that's the thing
that.
With Fallout 76, you see a lot of this damage control coming from these influencers. And what it is that it's like, this is such a good concept. There's a lot of good things here. And I think in time it's going to be really good. And they're giving it higher scores. Based on, not on the game that it was when they played it. Not based on the servers they had when they bought it and played it. When they were supposed to be reviewing it.
Right.
They're basing all of this on the promise or the hope that Bethesda will one day fix this and make it an acceptable product, much the same that No Man's Sky has.
Right.
And once they've done that, maybe they can get ongoing, developer game of the year award. Dude,
yeah.
Ongoing game award.
Whoop-de-doo.
It's like,
quite frankly,
you mean early access title of the year?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. There's a name for it, and it's called an early access title.
They've been doing it for years on PC.
And like, that's fine.
And
you want to do that,
PS4
I'm all for it.
And console. It's been all over the place in fucking gaming. Like, early access titles don't exist. That like crowdfunded projects don't exist. Like, these things are fucking impossible feats of strength. Holy shit.
The thing is that there's differences. There's the difference of being honest and upfront with your customer.
Yeah.
And the difference between that and selling them on a fully fleshed out $60 title. It's like Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves should not have cost anyone $60 at all.
At all. And you watch those press release videos afterwards, and it's the game developers or project leads, and they're like fluffing this up. And I can't even watch them and look at it with a straight face. Immediately when I'm watching this, I'm like, you're full of fucking shit, man. But meanwhile, we just watched a Monster Hunter World video today.
Yeah.
And that guy, I was into it. And he had
just
me
being
sold.
legit.
And he was just fucking talking about the product that he's selling. He's not trying to fucking like hype
Sell
it
you
up
on anything.
or tell you it's something it's not, because he knows what it
He's
is
like,
and he knows
yeah.
it's gonna fucking sell.
Yeah, he's like, yo, just if anyone who's played our games before, you kind of know what to expect in the size of our DLC. I imagine it's going to be a new fucking zone that's a winter zone, and it's going to have a whole slew of new monsters to hunt,
Right.
gear to craft, weapons to craft, all that shit.
Yeah.
And I imagine that it's going to be worth the money that you pay for it, because I'm sure that it'll cost $20.
Yeah.
Maybe 30, maybe 30. And that, at that point, it's like, okay, I know what to expect. I played the first game for well over 100 hours. I enjoyed 90% of it. There was a little bit of frustration here and there in the beginning, because it's a Monster Hunter game and it takes time to get the feel of your weapon and each monster, knowing what each monster is going to do, how best to combat the monster, what items are best to bring with you. Should you bring poison potions, antidotes? Should you bring extra healing? Should you make like super healing? Should you?
Yeah.
It's fucking cool. And it's what I would expect the DLC to be, is a fresh zone with all sorts of new monsters, and that's what he told me it's going to be.
Yeah. He didn't lie about it. He is like, this is what it is. This is what you're going to be able to do.
And then he's like, and in the meantime, we've got Geralt coming over.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mix between his style of gameplay and Monster Hunter's style of gameplay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's got me
it's
wondering
gonna be
all
like
sorts of
Witcher
things.
RPG elements
Yeah.
with Monster Hunter World
I'm wondering
combat.
what's that going to be like.
That'll
and guess
be
what?
cool.
The best part about it, I don't have to buy that free update.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy that. Like, I own the game, so I can get on and play through that shit and do that anytime
And another
I want.
thing is, he's like, we're collaborating with CD Projekt Red. So the company who made the Witcher games so fucking popular are actually going to be helping out with these elements that we're introducing in this fucking thing. They're legit. They're honest. And I respect that more. And you have me entranced. You have me listening to every single thing. And I will believe it, because
and
up
it's
to
coming
this point,
from the history, yes.
Yes, up to
of
this
man,
point,
of this developer, of this company, the game they gave you day one.
yeah, exactly. Up to this point, this company, they will say what they have coming, when it's coming, and when they say it's coming, it'll be here.
And they've made lots of money.
Yep.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird how you
Holy
can make
shit.
money and not be a douchebag.
Yeah, and you
Because
can be honest.
This defense of like, well, of course they're doing it. They have to make money. It's like, yeah, well, other companies are making just as much money and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So like, at a certain point, we need to look past. We need to look past the enabling that goes on. The enabling these companies that went on for years and years with the excuses of, oh, it's a Bethesda game, quit crying.
Yeah.
Buy it on PC and use console commands, you peasant.
Yeah.
Dude, all this elitist bullshit, like enabling this company's buggy games, like buying the remaster of Skyrim only to find out that it's got none of them fixed.
Yeah.
Right? Only to buy the Game of the Year of Fallout 4 that comes with the Game of the Year Definitive Edition, like this is the one, and it comes out and it has the same brick wall endings that the original game had on day one. Like, these are the sorts of patterns of behavior that Fallout or Bethesda has displayed for years. Jim Sterling talked in a video about how when Obsidian had developed Fallout New Vegas, which is arguably one of the buggiest, but also one of the most original and best Fallout games in the new generation of Fallout games.
Right.
3, New Vegas, and Fallout 4. In that pedigree. I'm not even going to label Fallout 76 in the same fucking pedigree. It doesn't even belong in that fucking...
It doesn't.
It would not be in the same on the shelf by them.
Yeah.
It would be down by, like, my copy of fucking Meg or something.
It would be like, yeah, exactly. They just...
like some trash that's there to make money.
They made it look like Fallout without making it feel like Fallout.
Let's face it, that's what it's there. And you can tell that there's no passion or love put into it, because the people who supposedly want you to have the best experience possible because they are passionate and in love with this project are willing to release a game with T-posing enemies. They're willing to release a game that crashes servers when the end game event, people try to get creative in the end game event. And like, it's this sort of behavior that they've displayed over and over again, this kind of like, this is just here to make money. This is just here to make money. And like, when, like, I would argue Fallout 4 had a lot of passion put into it, but even then it was slipping. There were things there that just was like, what is this? Why is this?
Yeah. I would say Bethesda pisses all over everyone now.
They've gotten to the point where they really need to deliver with Starfield.
And I don't think we brought this up.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
They really need to deliver with those.
They need to make those games fucking the best
they have
in every
to.
possible way.
They have to, dude.
Yeah. But we didn't even bring this up, and we just barely read about it today. The fucking essays.
Oh my god, the essays.
Let's talk about the essays.
So, there's been some people who've been banned from Fallout 76. These people were running cheat mods. Now, some of them were running anti-cheat mods. Some of them were not. Some of them were running things that actually help the performance of the game. Now, these people have all been banned. When asked to get their accounts back, they were sent an email by a Bethesda representative saying that they needed to write essays on why. Let's get this direct quote. I want this direct quote right here. If you would like to appeal this account closure, we would be willing to accept an essay on why the use of third-party cheat software is detrimental to an online gaming community for our management team to review. Who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say after that is why what are you doing with that thing? I would flip that fucking like, you're detrimental to an online game. Like, you're fucking detrimental to that shit.
This is the explanation of why they flagged the use of third-party applications. Because we do not want players exploiting the game in ways that provide a competitive advantage or negatively impact the servers and gameplay experience for other players. Well, what about your crashing servers? What about your bugs? What about your quests that won't allow you to turn them in until you reload the server?
What about the NPCs, the straw man, and then move around and run around?
Not NPCs.
Yeah, enemies.
There's no NPCs.
Enemies, though, they'll just straw man fucking, like, they're models that they just run.
Yep.
And they're just standing there.
And then they get killed and their bodies stay there. Like
in that
game
position.
From like 2008 or something.
Yeah.
It's like this company game, you're gonna do that. How about you write an essay on how to not feed your customers full of shit, lie to them in official patch notes, why doing that? How about that? Why lying to your customer in official patch notes about a bug that currently exists and will continue to exist all the way into the Game of the Year edition? Why that's an acceptable thing to do, and how that's actually detrimental to not only gaming but the industry as a whole, affecting the products we get when you get defended, and that's what makes money. Because Fallout 76, let's face it, it's not only a victim of Bethesda's greed and incompetence. It's also a victim of the fucking this wave of games that have made tons of money. Destiny, Overwatch, Fortnite. Games
it's a victim of their accolades.
Very simple gameplay loop. I'm not going to argue with anybody here. If you enjoy that sort of thing, that's fine. I'm not going to say that it's not okay to enjoy that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, as you know, you're getting an entirely different experience than me, but I will argue up, down, left, right, and center that doing the same thing over and over again day by day and getting incremental rewards at the pace of the developer's discretion, I'd say that is exactly what Fortnite is, Destiny is, Overwatch is, fucking half these games. Very simple gameplay loop, same sort of thing over and over again. I would almost say Overwatch and like Destiny PvP, at least there you're getting a different experience because there's player versus player there. So you're getting different opponents, there's different matches ups, different things people are doing to counter you, and that makes you a better player. That sort of thing. But I'm talking like the save, and Fortnite with the Battle Royale mode as well. But I'm talking like the Save the World campaign, the fucking Destiny main story stuff, raids and things like that, and the way that they distribute gear through daily, weekly rewards. I'm talking Overwatch and their holiday event items that you can only get during this holiday, and the numbers being fucked with to the point where they're willing to completely change the way that they sell loot boxes in China rather than give up the drop rates for the fucking legendaries and things. I'm talking like those games are making tons of money.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, Fallout 76 comes out, and it's basically go out and do, like, mundane quests, you know, explore the map, make your own fun, killing enemies, leveling up that way, and then once you hit the end game, do the nuclear thing, kill the nuclear boss, do it again,
Yep.
do it again,
Again,
do it again.
again.
And it's a very simple gameplay loop, not talking shit on you if you enjoy that. But let's be honest about what it is. It's not offering you a branching path with many different decisions, numerous ways to play the game. It's not. It's like, this is how you're going to play the game. This is how you're going to be rewarded, and it's at our discretion. And with these games as a service, it's even more like ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the case of Destiny, where they're now selling season pass, like what they gave out for free, that piddly content they gave out in Destiny 1 way back when, that piddly content they gave away back then, they're now selling and boxing up in a fucking second season pass. Like, that's what this season pass is. It's stuff like that Easter update or whatever it was, where they were talking about this new strike given out for free, that new content that was promised when they introduced the microtransactions in the first fucking place. That free content that equaled up to a reskinned strike, reskinned enemy, reskinned boss.
Yep.
Right? They're now selling that. That's for sale now. That's no longer free. That's for sale.
Yeah.
And everything else in Destiny 2 has been geared to this way of, like, exploiting the people who love it. Exploiting the people who love it, you know, fucking around with their time, fucking around with their, you know, rewards and their shaders and everything else. That shit doesn't affect me, right? I wanted to play Destiny just to go through the content. I knew that that's what I would enjoy, was going through it once, and redoing it was going to be fucking, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I was hoping I would be able to go through all the content without hitting that point. But I mean, they had us doing patrols in the main story.
So that was immediately
Like,
out
where
of the way.
we were told we couldn't go do the next main story quest because we had to go level up and do end game grind.
Yeah.
So like, and that was the way it was in the Forsaken, but even more to a ridiculous extent because the offering content was lower. Because it's just that $40 Taken King expansion. So you get these 2 open world zones.
Yep.
But like, the one was small. The other one was way too high. We couldn't go there. So we were stuck on the small one. And we would have had to do that for hours and years. And farm those things. And farm gear. And weekly and daily rewards. Bounties. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's like, that's what they do in Fallout 76. It's a victim of that mentality. Of that mentality where that's the right way to do things. Because it breeds lots of money. The thing is that I think that Destiny 2 probably made less than Destiny 1. I say that because I bought Destiny 1, right? And I didn't buy Destiny 2. I got Destiny 2 for free. I don't know who paid for the copy. You know, maybe someone who's buying tons of gold in WoW, like maybe they get a credit off of that. But when Chris bought us Destiny 2 using World of Warcraft gold, I don't know who got paid anything.
Yeah.
Right? But I didn't buy it. You didn't buy it. We still didn't buy Destiny 2. We never did.
Nope.
Right? So I know that it made less money because we both bought Destiny 1. And we both bought the expansion pass in Destiny 1.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, like, I'm sure it made less. And I think that as time goes on, if they try, and Fallout 76 if they try, and if Anthem comes out, and it's a repeat of history with the same sort of, like...
Games as a service coming out, and, like... fluffed up, and then it ends up dropping on its fucking back and not being able to flip back up and stand up.
And just sort of being this mundane, samey experience that doesn't have much room for, like, different play styles, different things like that. A lot of control taken away from the player and put behind, you know, like, when we decide you get new content, how much we decide to sell it to you for. Because that's the thing, you'll get, Fallout 76 will probably definitely improve. It probably will be the game that deserves a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
An 8 out of 10. It might be that game someday. But the point is that there's no guarantee that it will. Just like with No Man's Sky, there's still things there that if someone may have heard one of Sean Murray's speeches and certain things that had drawn them attention to it, like me wondering what was at the center of the universe and what sort of awesome experience I'd have storytelling wise that would lead me there, and what I'd find there with the, you know, the talk of multiplayer, you know, this ambiguous talk that just leaves, so much room for the customer to just fluff themselves up and imagine what it could be. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, whatever you come up with is not going to be as good as the final product. That's why it's important with games like Fallout 76, when they're doing this enabling, when they're fluffing this sort of product, when they're saying this is the thing to get, this is the thing to buy, this is it, this is it, this is it, hype, hype, hype. When they're spreading on that butter, you need to tell them, hold the fuck up a minute. And you just wait, and you wait, and then someone else takes a bite, and then you decide. That's when you decide, because you're smart. You don't want to be poisoned. You don't want your money taken away from you, right? You don't want to give your money to a game that you're going to play for 2 hours, refund, or maybe you get into it for longer before you realize that it's crap, and then you're stuck with this.
Yep.
You're stuck with this thing. You spent your fucking money on it.
You feel disappointed.
Yes. Yes.
You
and
feel...
it's like we've all done it. Like,
yeah.
we've all done it.
Yeah.
We were all part of this problem where we take this game, what these fucking manipulative people who are paying a lot of money to marketers to have the marketers tell them how to sell this game.
Yeah.
People who have gone to school for psychology, people who know what to fucking say. Like, they're slick.
That's ambiguous enough to make the customer think it's something that it's
Yes.
not, but then at the same time protect themselves from the side of the law.
Yep. Protect them from any repercussions, anything like that. Yeah. We need to know.
That's why Sean Murray can't apologize. If he apologized, he'd admit that he'd lied. And he doesn't want to admit that he lied. He doesn't want to admit that he lied. Because at this point in time, with him not saying anything, people are still able to say that he technically didn't lie.
Yeah. Well, dude, the thing is he did legit do some low-key interviews where he said things like, don't expect multiplayer in it. If you're buying this for multiplayer, I wouldn't expect multiplayer in it.
Yeah.
At the same time, he's also on Steve Colbert, a very, ratings out through the fucking roof, selling this game.
Oh, yeah.
He's also on the stage show in E3, telling all of those things. Not outwardly lying.
No.
All those things were able to be proven were in the game, even if they were in a fucking special model developed for specifically the E3 stage show.
Yeah.
Still on the disc they sold you.
Yep.
So that's the thing. So I don't know if that's a thing. I'm just saying that could be a thing.
But that's how they do that.
Yeah, it could be a thing. Like, they could say, it's on there, look.
Yeah. And that's fucking what Todd
Howard
slick. Did.
It's fucking slick, man. It's slick. And you've got to pay attention to this and let people who are going to buy a game anyway, oftentimes get it for free.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they're going to get a review copy of it. I'm not going to say that Jim Sterling does that. I'm not going to say Angry Joe does that. I mean, they do. But the thing about ACG and Angry Joe is, in this case, Angry Joe bought this $200 edition. He didn't get that for free. No. He bought that fucking thing, right? And fucking ACG... he always reimburses the game. So, like, he buys it again and then he gives it away on his Patreon in a monthly pool. So even if he does get a free copy of a game, he's buying it anyway and then giving the free copy he got, he's giving that to his Patreons.
Yeah.
Because he's not a fucking corporate meat fucking puppet. He's a real legit dude who just wants good goddamn games and he loves them and you can tell he's passionate about them.
Yeah.
He's a fucking great, trustworthy reviewer.
Oh, yeah.
You let guy like that, guy like Joe, who'll be honest with you, who will tell you if it's boring, who will tell you if there's technical issues that involve server crashes and things of that nature. You let these dudes who are going to get it anyway and play it because it's their job. It's their job. You've given them that trust. You've given them that job. When Joe does that, and I sit down and I watch Joe's fucking review, he makes a little ad money off of me, and he's giving me information like I'm his audience, I'm his customer, and Joe has never fed me full of shit.
No.
He's been upfront and honest about everything he's selling.
Even if you don't agree with it?
Even if you don't agree with it.
He's being honest with you.
Like his reviews. I know what to expect from a movie review of Joe, so I don't watch them. I'm not into them.
And he's consistent.
But he's consistent.
In video games. Like,
he's consistent with movies.
I don't know
He is. But the thing about it is that I don't like that style of review.
Right.
I don't like that style
Well,
of review.
I'm saying, like, I'm not sure
Yeah.
because I haven't watched any of them for a consistent amount of time to definitively say.
You know what to kind of expect. He likes the excitement of a movie. He likes that sort of thing. He'll also be critical of it, but oftentimes his initial reaction to movies are very good. And then later he'll come back and say, now that I've had time to think, and it's not like he's like fucking one of those people, I feel like, that's going to Reddit, going here or there to find out what he believes. I feel like it's more like he's looking at that, but it's only to solidify more himself.
Right.
Like he's like, I agree with that one. That one I think is dumb. That one I feel is a nitpick. Things like that.
Yeah. Oh, but this one, he brings up, this person brings up a good point.
I don't care for him.
Yeah.
I don't care for his style of reviews. I like watching like a good long, like a YMS quickie is more enjoyable to me because he's more on point. He's there's thought put into it. I like freaking YMS. Your movie sucks. I like history buffs. I wish he would do reviews on every movie. Like the way he just does the historical reviews and he still like critiques certain things about the movie.
Oh yeah.
I think he could do like any movie.
I think he could be a legit
movie he does
critic.
a really good job.
He does a really good job.
And the editing, the presentation, it's like I just feel like that is where I'm going to go for my movie reviews.
Right.
It has nothing to do with Joe's taste. It's more just the presentation of the review where I feel like I could be doing this.
Right.
Me, you, and Canvas, and Crumb, and Ty, and Punky, we could all sit in a room and do exactly what they're doing.
Watch the movie, come home, record it.
And do the exact same thing that they're doing. And I feel like, and it's not that like, it's just that I would be more interested in that. And that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'll talk to my family about the movie, I'll get their feelings about it. And, that's who I'll share mine with. But I really like when they do, I think they should do more of like that Fallout 76. This has trailed into a critique of Joe's fucking movie reviews. And I didn't mean it to at all. But anyway, I'm just saying Joe isn't full of shit.
No, he's
Joe
not
is
full
a
of
straight
shit.
up dude.
You can tell when people are full of shit.
I was watching that video where I was getting after him about the comments, and then I honestly thought maybe he did that just to get the people to fuck off. And then I felt guilty because I was like, if that's what he did, if that was his intention, A, he's fucking brilliant, and B, he fucking got me. And then I went back and I started watching some. I noticed he had comments back up, and I fucking instantly resubbed. I was like, yep. Because, the thing about that is I don't think you should silence your comment section. I mean, I understand it, especially when there's, a lot of hate. I can understand it, but don't silence them. Block individuals, not everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care if he goes through and he's like, no, fuck you, dude, you're nasty, fucking blocked. No, fuck you, dude, you're nasty, you're blocked.
Yeah.
Or if he wants to put in, that's another thing is you can put in, words that won't be allowed. So, you could go through and say, I don't want, fuck you, this, I don't want any of these words.
Right.
And, you basically go, because these idiots are generic. They're not smart. These people who are leaving, these nasty messages just to be mean, they might sometimes look smart. Maybe that comment is well worded, but I promise you that dumb monkey fuck behind the counter, or behind the computer, he was scratching his head, and thinking, what do I do next? And he's thinking about how to write this out and be nasty. All right? This isn't just him in his fucking prime. He's not this smart all the time. And in fact, if you met this stupid person, they'd probably keep their mouth shut in their life because they'd accept that they're a fucking stupid person. Right? And they're not going to fuck around. And that's the thing. So, that's my description of the worst ignorant idiot on YouTube comments. Just a little micro rant there. I get those people are real.
Oh, yeah.
But dude, there's multiple things you can do without silencing everybody. Because despite me not liking Joe's movie reviews, I never left a comment being rude.
Yeah, I know.
I never left a comment talking shit.
Yeah.
And if I did, it was probably about his one friend who stares into the camera like he's gonna rape me. And that's probably what I said. Because there's one friend he has. It's not Del, it's not OJ, it's not Angry Joe. There's one friend he has. I don't remember his name. But when I see him in a thumbnail, I for sure don't click on that fucking thing. Dude is creepy looking. And he just stares right into the camera. You can tell it's kind of he's just insecure. But also he's trying to grab attention. And it's just very, very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I can't explain it any better than that. I don't feel it's just I'm gaining nothing from seeing this video. I'm gaining nothing from this. But that aside, like, I know Joe's not, and that, so fucking back to what I went
Don't trust
Will
it.
you save me?
Yes. Don't trust fucking mainstream fucking game journalists because they're just peddling this shit only to backtrack on, talk shit on it later.
Yep.
Be with somebody who's consistent.
Consistency fucking matters, dude.
And not only with just game journalists, but in the industry as a whole, fucking game companies. Consistency is key. But not just consistency, but a push forward in a positive direction in every way. And I know that's subjective, right? Like, somebody could say that something's a push forward, and somebody else could say that that's a push back. They could say,
yeah, it could definitely be said that Fallout 76 pushes the genre forward with multiplayer. Right,
exactly. But, let's be honest with ourselves, right? We can all be honest with ourselves.
Expect a bug-free product.
Yes, you should expect the product that you are sold from day one.
Bug-free as possible.
With the $200 fuck me in the mouth edition.
Yeah, and everything that is broken, if there are things, because they're just going to be there, man. There's things that are going to be there.
There's things in everything.
All of those should be taken care of within 6 months. Like, I'm not saying developers shouldn't let a game go if it has a few things here or there that they could have a live team work on and fix and like hash out and iron out while they have the majority of the studio working towards their next game. Right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Fallout 76 came out and Fallout 4 still isn't finished. So yeah, that's the facts.
Oh yeah.
And at that point you need to question, okay, well, does Bethesda deserve my money? And if you feel like they do, that's fine. If you feel like they deserved your $60 and your, the $25 microtransactions that they say are on sale, but they're not. If you're okay with these sorts of things, these sorts of moves coming from Bethesda, support them. But be honest with yourself and accept that that's a personal thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that if it had been any other company that had done you like that, whether it was a restaurant with your food, whether if it was a haircut you paid for, they showed you a picture, said, I can do exactly that, and then you look at it, it looks like a fucking 12-year-old kid had cut your hair, right? So if it's that sort of thing, then, you would accept that, like, this is a product that I paid for that isn't what they said it was going to be. It's a broken thing, and it's not something that I should have had to pay that much for. And if I'm going to pay that much for, I need to be aware of the early access title. It should be stamped on the cover of every one of these games.
Oh, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Destiny 1 was in early access until they stopped. As soon as they stopped doing updates on that, that's when it's out early access.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, if you're still actively patching and updating your game and doing things like that, you're working on it still. It's still in development, and that's early access. And that's fine. But label it what it is, dude. Be honest with people. Say this is going to come out. It's early access, so we might have some problems. We're going to play test it within 3 months. We're going to, shoot for this window. We're going to have this sort of content for you to come out. And, like, be honest, dude. You don't have to lie to be you don't have to be a dickhead to be rich.
You don't.
You don't have to be a dickhead to make money, man. You can be cool, straight up, and make an awesome product and game. You can give a shit about what you do. You can give a shit about your product and throw your passion and love into it and still make a buck, motherfuck. It's possible. We see it all the time.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
All the time. It's everywhere. Games like Vermintide 2 with their little bit of money that they've got.
Oh, yeah.
With what they were able to do from the first to second game. You could tell they gave it their all. Because it's a better product than the first game. Better things in there. And that's ultimately the way I feel about it. I feel that we need to, at the end of the day, force these companies to write essays why it's okay for them to send us broken, buggy shit day one.
And then piss on us. And then treat us like shit. And treat us like... And especially now, all the way to the point with the fucking write an essay. Like, the balls on you, Bethesda, really? You're gonna ask people to write a fucking essay so that they can play your game again. at that point, go fuck yourself. I don't want to play that game. I'm done playing any of your games. And that's how I feel about Bethesda. That's how I feel about Hello Games. That's how I feel about fucking Sea of Thieves. That's how I feel about Destiny. Like, if I am not going to sit here and waste my time chasing the game it could be and the game I want. If it's not the game I enjoy, it's never going to be the game that I enjoy.
It's so helpful to yourself, to everybody, is to just, like, wait. Because ultimately, if you wait and you see it and you're sold on it and you buy it, if you wait and you see it and you're not sold on it and you wait for a sale, you wait for a fucking drop in price, I mean, that could make all the difference in the world.
Oh, yeah.
People who just waited simply 2 weeks were getting Fallout 76 for $35. That's almost half price of day one.
Oh, yeah.
Almost half price. 2 weeks after release. That's all you have to do.
Yep.
You know, just wait, man. You'll get great sales. It's like the Shadow of fucking War. Like, I knew that game was going to be compromised on a fundamental level because I knew that they were going to sell microtransactions in it.
Right.
That affected the time and the gameplay grind. So I knew that game was going to be affected by it. And I still wanted to play it. Fucking, there's nothing more fun to me than running around and stealthing out and causing chaos in an orc encampment, leading to a showdown with the war chief and taking him out. Like, there's nothing I love more than all that, dude. That's so much fun to me. But I knew that behind all that now, there was a grind and a progression system that was tied to RNG-based loot boxes, that was tied to shit that they want to sell.
Yep, to microtransactions.
So, like, I didn't buy it. I waited. Now, all those microtransactions were removed months ago. They've stabilized the game, grind and at progression system to account for the fact that you can no longer buy anything in their marketplace. And I got it for $19. The definitive edition with all the DLC, $19. I just waited.
Yeah.
I didn't lose anything for waiting. I didn't get hurt for waiting.
Nope.
You know, and I watched reviews on it too. I watched Joe's review. I heard about the currencies and about all these things that equal out to, like, kind of, it really affects the experience.
Oh, yeah.
It takes away from this game.
To the point where the game developers themselves came out and were like, yeah, sorry. These affect the gameplay.
Because, yeah, this is affecting the gameplay. So we're going to take these out.
Yep.
So, I mean, at that point, it's just a simple matter of waiting, being patient. And, like, another thing is that when this is one of my New Year's resolutions this year moving forward in regards to our channel, not a personal resolution, but a channel related resolution. I want to try to be calmer. I want to try to better represent the other side.
Right.
Because I understand there always is another side. I would like to stop acting like me and them are the problem. That they're the problem. That the fans, the defenders, the people who trust these companies, that they're the problem. I don't want to play like that's the way it is. I want to focus on the real problem, and that is a lack of honesty. And I think that by putting yourself in this snap neck decision where it's like kind of like us versus them, like these people commenting on our video on Vermintide 2 on PlayStation 4, why you should buy that game on PS4. We made that video because we wanted that game to do well, because we saw the amount of money and time and attention that went into Vermintide 2, and we bought it on the PS4. We had a lot of fun with that game on the PS4.
With the first one?
Yeah, the first one we bought out on the PS4. That was before me and you were on PC. Mm-hmm. So we bought the first one on the PS4. We had a really good time with that game, and that directly, those funds that we spent on that game, that directly helped funnel money into the development of the next one, which we then bought on PC and played, and we enjoyed the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So why would we not recommend someone whose preferred platform is the PlayStation to buy it? Right? And like, so people are commenting on that video, they're like, buy it on PC. There's no reason to buy this on console. It's this. You're fucking stupid if you're buying this on console. Just buy it on PC. And it's this negative attitude that's like, fuck. Like, you're playing on console, you're lower than me.
Yeah.
You're playing on PC, well, fuck you, for this. And it's like, it's this sort of thing. It's tribalism is what it is. It's a need to belong to something bigger, and it's okay. Like, it's okay to belong to that. Like, it's okay to be proud of your PlayStation 4, But don't say that anyone on the Xbox isn't going to be able to have a good time.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And on PC, vice versa. On mobile phone, vice versa. You know, argue about the things in mobile games. Bring that up to them. Say, well, I don't play on mobile because of this, because of this, because of this. Because let's face it, if the good games were on mobile, we'd all be on mobile. They're just not. They're not there. They're not on mobile. You know, you get these games like Harry Potter and things like that where it's like, it's legit time. Wait for time or buy time.
It's on your phone.
They're selling time.
Yeah. Well, another thing is, with mobile phone games, the phone is in your pocket all day. The phone is in your pocket all day. You're walking around, you're going to the grocery store, you're going to the doctor's office, you're going to school, you're going to work, I don't care. You're going to pull it out at one point or another. And that's what those games are designed for.
Yeah.
It's for you to every once in a while.
Time limited, yeah.
Pull
Spend
it out.
a little time.
Yeah, I wonder what is going on in this game.
And
I haven't checked it for a few hours.
It pulls away the weaker people and forces them into this situation. And that's the problem. So that's like personal challenge resolution. We're going to be trying that.
Oh, yeah. I've been trying to not get so mad about this shit and not care so much. When I do say F a company or F a game, I'm going to say that, like, the business practices behind the game. It's not so much the product that I hate.
Or like, it's just like,
stop
doing this.
I want them to succeed. I would love for all of them to be good. Yeah.
That's all it is. We want good games.
Yeah, and we recognize these companies as being very influential in the fucking industry that they are fucking leading in. And then to see them take steps back and pull things back and strip certain elements away
and put in other things that just don't make any sense.
Yep.
Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Merry fucking Christmas.
Yes.
Love you guys. Till next time, stay awesome, stay cool to each other, and until then, the battle wages on with the never-ending invaders because people are stupid.
They will do it.
They will do
They
it.
like it.
They will look up a Reddit thread. They will learn how to invade. They will continually spawn into our game until finally they kill us.
Like 3 at a time.
And they're able to get all of us.
Until...
And then they will 3-man Chubbz and act like big men after they had immediately been respawning hills and everything.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Love you guys.